Hey, everybody. What I want to talk about tonight is the difference between the spiritual path and the ego path. Because there's a lot of confusion out there, and there's a lot of people that really seem to think that certain things are spiritual that are completely ego based. Okay. And one of the biggest ways to see that is to understand the difference between the ego path and the spiritual path in life. Okay. And you can apply this to every area. Okay. So then you'll even see why, a lot of the twin flame stuff is ego based and being souped up and called spiritual. But you'll see why so many people can't bring the as above and so below together. Okay, it's because they're not on the spiritual path, they're on the ego path. And you can apply this, like I said, to many different things. This will help you understand so many different things in life, not just love and dating and twin flames and all that crap. Okay, so here's the thing. The ego path is always based in the past or the future. The ego cannot be happy. Okay, the ego cannot be at peace. The ego is destined to suffer. Okay, it's going to continue to suffer and go through cycles of suffering. And the ego always wants to avoid the now. Okay, so the ego is always suffering the past or the future. Suffering the past through memory. Okay, or suffering the future through fantasy that the ego can't bring into reality. Okay, so the ego is always suffering the past or the future. The ego lives in the dimension of time, and it's always suffering the past or the future. Now, the spiritual path is one that is in the now. Okay, it is escaping the realm of time, because remember, without the realm of time, everything is right now. Okay, and the spiritual path is about, it's not about escaping the now. It is about bringing happiness, peace, joy into the right now. Okay, so let's look at how the different things would be if we traveled the ego path versus the soul path. When we are, say for instance, our right now is that we're unhappy. Okay, if we're unhappy and we're taking the ego path in life, how we deal with that, consciously or unconsciously, is we escape our unhappiness. Okay, so we reminisce on something from the past that felt better than where we are now. So we go into the past, we escape right now, we escape the truth of what's really going on and how we really feel, and we go to reminisce on a time when things were better, when we were happy. And that is what we use as our happiness now. So for this moment, we feel a sense of happiness by reminiscing on the past. But it's not true happiness. We're not actually happy. We didn't deal with anything right now that is the reason for us within ourselves that we're not happy. We escape by reminiscing on the past. Or we've decided to go and travel into the future. Okay, which remember, this past, future, all this stuff exists only in ego living. Okay, so or we escape our happiness by going into the future. So we avoid the unhappiness that we feel now by thinking about something that's going to change, and then we'll be happy in the future. It's not now. We don't get to be happy now. The only happiness we actually have now is thinking about the time when we're actually going to be happy in the future. So the ego then will think about, it'll have some type of goal for happiness. Now, the thing about this is when you're living ego-based living, like I said, it's doomed for perpetual suffering. Because the thing is, even if you got the thing in the future that the ego wanted, that it felt like it would be happy without having to be spiritual and really deal with the truth and deal with now and why you're actually unhappy, instead you get to get a moment, a taste of happiness, an illusion of happiness by traveling into the future. But if you actually got the thing that you were traveling to the future for, you would still be unhappy because it's ego-based living. Okay, so then the ego can never be satisfied. Then it's going to come up with something else. This is why you'll see somebody that they feel like they'll be happy when they get that job or when they get that promotion. Then they get it and it's like, well, then I need a house. Well, then when I get the house, then I'll be happy. Then they get the house and it's like, well, I need a better car. And then when I get the car, it's like, you know what? I need love. I need a partner. When I get a partner and when I'm married, then I'll be happy. But then they get married and as time goes on, it's like, well, I need another spouse. Like, it'll just never end. It will never end with the ego because it's not based in truth. It's not based in truth. It's just based in illusion. Illusion is in the past and in the future. That is illusion. Now, the spiritual path, how would we deal with our unhappiness? We would say, right now, the truth is I'm unhappy. That's just the truth of it. That's what it is right now. Okay, so how can I deal with what inside of me? What is going on with me that I can't be happy? And we would begin to look within ourselves and we begin to look at the reality of our lives and we would say, there's certain ways that I'm compromising myself that I'm not happy with, or we would look at our lives in truth. We would look at our true state and we would say that we would want to create that happiness from within ourselves. We don't need to leave the moment. We don't need to leave the present moment to go into the past to reminisce on some other time of happiness and into that illusion. And we don't need to go into the illusion of the future. No, we're going to create our happiness now. We want our happiness now, and we're willing to go through the fire. We're willing to go through what we need to go through to face the true core root of our unhappiness so that we can have that happiness within. And then the true spiritual path is not about being unhappy until this or when this happens or, it's about creating that in the now. It is about learning to flow with your life and all of its experiences and to still be able to be happy, to cultivate the inner state of being that allows that peace and happiness. Yes, it's not and the thing is, the reason we don't do that is because that path is harder. Okay, because we have to face our pain. We have to look at the truth of our lives, and it isn't good. Sometimes what I mean is it doesn't feel good. Okay, so we look for a quick escape, but this is the problem with that. It's only temporary. The suffering never ends. So if we never deal with the now, the present moment, which is the only moment that actually exists. There is no time. There is no past. It only exists in your memory. There is no future. It only exists in your imagination. But the time to be happy is now. The only time that you can experience true happiness from the core of your being is right now. And if there's something in the way of you experiencing that right now, you have to deal with that. And I'll tell you the truth, there's never anything outside of you that is actually preventing you from experiencing that right now. So the thing, there's nothing that's preventing you other than not wanting to go through and face and heal your own pain, which I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. It is terribly difficult. But here's the thing. It's difficult to live the ego-based reality of always being in the past or the future in illusion, fantasy. It's illusion. That is painful because you will never bring the illusion into your reality that way. You can only cultivate it from within yourself and manifest it from your vibration. Because here's the trick of the ego. It makes you think that the imagination is somehow creating the real vibration. You're not a vibrational match to what you want when you're in your ego. You're not going to be a vibrational match to the truth of your happiness when it comes to happiness. Okay, you can be a vibrational match to the car, but it won't bring you the happiness. You're not going to be the vibrational match to happiness and joy and peace and bliss and harmony. Oneness, wholeness within yourself. The ego can never be whole. It can never be whole. And this is why it seeks to make itself whole outside of itself. It's constantly seeking to make itself whole and happy outside of itself, because it is impossible for it to have happiness in the now. It can only believe in it in some other time. Okay, so I just encourage all of you who are in a space where you're really wanting happiness and you want it to be real. You're wanting to change your life. You're wanting things to get better. It's possible for absolutely every one of you. But it's going to be your choice of whether you're going to go through that hard time that ends. Because this is the thing. Yes, it's painful to face your pain. It's painful to dig through all of that and to, really have to face it. But it ends. At least doing things that way, you have a hope of things actually coming to an end and you actually having happiness. Not happiness that's dependent upon things you cannot control, like what other people do, whether you get that job or not, or circumstances beyond your own control. You can't have your happiness in your house. It can flood. It can burn to the ground. It's not going to be stable. You will never have the true happiness from anything outside of yourself, even with other people. You can't have security in relationship with another person. Why? Because they're another person. They can leave. Things can change. They can die. See, so if you ever look for your security and your happiness, your peace, your joy, your bliss in something that is outside of you, you will know it within yourself that you're clinging on to, that your foundation is built on sand. So you will still feel unstable even when you have it. This is why people who get money, who look for money to bring them their security and their stability within themselves, and then they'll get the money, and guess what? They need more money because it doesn't feel secure enough. See, because inside, the truth is always there. We always know the truth deep within us. So there's always going to be a part within us, even if we live the ego identity and we say, when I get $5 million, I'm going to feel secure because I'll know that I can make this work and that I won't go broke again, and I can do this and this and this. You have it all mapped out. But then you get the $5 million, and guess what? There's a truth still within you that you're not secure. And then you're going to realize, no, $5 million is really not enough. I need at least 10 million. And see, people can do this until they get into the billions of dollars. It'll never end. And that's just one way to talk about it. But in every area of the ego path, it is never ending suffering. It is a gaping hole of not enough, no matter how you're seeking and what you're seeking. But if you choose the spiritual path and you choose to be brave and you choose to be strong and face it all and really heal, it actually ends one day. It's not forever. That pain is not going to be forever anymore. There's going to come a point of peace. And the funny thing about it is, when that point of peace comes, everything manifests that you actually wanted anyway. But now that you're not needing it and you're not using it as a way to escape your present moment, it tastes even sweeter. It's even more, you can enjoy it even better. How many people do you know that have the thing that you want? Okay, everybody, we all want something different. Okay, we're not all the same. Not all of us want money. Not all of us want to drive the fanciest cars. Not all of us are wanting to be married. We don't all want the same things, but at the foundation, we're all the same. So whatever it is that you want, that thing that you want, okay? If there's somebody somewhere, even if it's just a Facebook friend, that has that thing that you want, do you realize that there are even more people who have that thing that you want and they don't feel any more happiness than you do? They don't have any more peace than you do because they can't get that from that. So for those of you who want the money, haven't you seen these rich people who have what you want and they commit suicide? Or haven't you seen the person who has the relationship that you want and they're still unhappy? happiness comes from within, and it comes from making that hard decision to face it all. That you're going to do what's required to bring your happiness into the now, where you can really taste it, where you can really touch it, where you can really feel it from within yourself, where you can really feel it bursting forth from within your being and your essence. Okay? So that is the premise of all of my work. It is for those who want that. That is what my boot camps are for. They're not just to show you how to, get what you want, but how to begin to cultivate within yourself the vibration, the energy, the essence, how to clear out the things that are clogging you within, that are blocking you from bringing into the now what it is that you truly want to experience. Because I tell you the truth, everything that you want is not about you really wanting that. It's about the feeling that you've believed that you're going to have when you get it. So when you want the new house, you don't want the house because you really want the house. There's a feeling inside of you that you're yearning for, that you feel that having the house will bring the feeling. No, you have to bring the feeling within yourself. You have to create the feeling within yourself in a real way. And I'm not talking about illusion. I'm not talking about the tricks of the ego that never bring results. I'm talking about in a real way, deeply within you. Okay, and it takes some time on the journey before you even get to where you can understand what I'm saying and you can really realize the depths of it. If you don't get it today, this video will be here. Come back later. Okay? And once again, guys, I'm passionate about my boot camps because I know the spirit with which they were created. I know their intention in the world, and I know their capability for healing. Okay, so I'm passionate about it, so I'm going to say it again. The links to the boot camp are in the description box below for those who want to do that work. For those who really want to go deep and they really want to face it. Okay? I love you guys so much. I wish you joy, peace, happiness, healing, wholeness, oneness within yourselves. That just felt so good to say it. I want to say it again. I wish you happiness, joy, peace, bliss, wholeness, oneness within yourself. That's what I wish for you guys. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.